I'm Blake Haskins, and in this video, you're going to see me make this box, but more importantly, I'm going to show you the method that I used to get such a nice fit for a lift lid box with piston fit, and it's pretty foolproof. As long as you got a router table, you can do it. You might get improvised and use the sander, but I do it for the router table. And make sure you subscribe so you can see my other videos. To set a perfect 45-degree angle on my blade, I'm going to get this magnetic angle reader out and just set it 90 with my fence and then put it on the blade until it gets to 45. I got pretty square miters using that miter gauge, but I really need to make another miter sled just because that one's not really accurate. But I think this would be good enough to glue up. I'm just going to start by laying tape over the joints so that they can fold them right there. So I'm about to put splines in this box now that we've glued it up, and I'm just going to show you this jig real quick. It's basically 2 pieces of plywood which fit in the runners, and then I've cut out a V at 90 degrees in there, and then this sits in at 90 degrees and it cradles to work. So I have this line laid out right here, and that just shows me where the blade cuts. So if I want the spline to be, say, 3/4 of an inch in, which is about where that is, then I'll just put a stop block over here and I can cut 2 splines in that same spot on either side. And then to set the blade height, of course, the bigger that you want the spline, the higher you have to set the blade. In my case, I usually just make it where it's just about to, the saw blade's just about to go through that corner, and so that's where I have it set now. And so I'm gonna go and start cutting. I've just got this tiger stripe maple to be the spline, and obviously this is more than enough. And I'm going to use this plane that we restored in the last video to take down the size just a tad. I'm just going to make 1 or 2 passes. Now, to install the box joints, I like to use the jig itself just to hold it at a 45-degree angle. Since I'll have to hammer in that dimension, this jig comes in handy to hold it. I'm just going to sand these splines flat. So here I'm going to show you one of the most foolproof ways to attach the top of your box, and it's just going to be a lift lid. So I've just flattened one side of it now. I just basically placed it on the belt sander straight down, and then made sure that it was flat on the table saw, which is a flat surface. And now I'm going to take that flat surface, I'm going to find which side I want to be the top. So this side has a little bit more figure in it, so I'm just going to make this side the side that it is up right now, and this will make sense in just a second. And now I'm just going to place it like this into the corner and get it about as close as I can without, just make sure that's flush. And then I'm going to take my glue gun. I guess on smaller boxes you may not be able to fit a glue gun in there because this one barely fits, but it's certainly an easy method. And then I'm just going to run a strip of hot glue down the corner of it, and it doesn't take too much here. Some places you can just put dots, just enough to hold that in place real good. I may have put too much, but it's better than not enough. Now, the reason you don't want to put glue on the bottom of this and then put it down is because then you'll have a space there, and you don't want that. Alright, so now I got this hot glued in and flush trimmed with the router, so that's pretty much even, if not just a 1/16 of a bit over. I don't know why it does that, but it is. And not 1/16, 1/64. And alright, now this hot glue residue that's behind, it's pretty easy just to scrape up with the chisel. Now what we're going to do to make this a lift lid is we're going to attach an extra little thin piece that goes around the edge of this, and I think I'm gonna use a darker wood. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use a darker wood, and that's what makes it a lift lid. Right now for this darker piece I'm about to glue on, I'm actually gonna use Brazilian cherry, and I've cut it in a bevel, as you can see there. The burnt part doesn't matter too much because it'll just be on the inside, and I'm about to just glue it onto this edge with the overhanging. Now while that's drying, I'm just gonna hammer in the bottom, and this is a piece of mahogany from the scrap bin. I'm gonna cut these two ends flush, and then I'm gonna put on the other side. Now after I flush cut it, I just sanded the top down pretty simple, 300 grit. Well, of course I work my way up, and then it fits on quite nice. It doesn't rattle, and when you shake it, and it goes on both ways. Both ways, it's a nearly piston fit, and when you flip it over, it kind of takes a second to fall off because of that piston fit. It's exactly what I wanted. Now, I'm going to have to sand this a little bit just to get it nice and smooth. And I'm going to try not to sand too hard up here where the top is referencing. But, yeah, and then we'll be done. Alright, I'm going to be finishing this with Danish oil. And of course, I've wiped it down to get all the sawdust off. And I sanded it to 600 grit. I mean, I like Danish oil as a finish just because it's pretty easy to apply. And I use it for pretty much all my projects. It makes it stand out a lot. And after I put Danish oil on it, I'll let it sit and just kind of make it where it's not sticky anymore. And then I'll go and put some of that glaze on it, and I think that glaze stuff really makes it look good. And might as well be coated polyurethane at that point. So I just wanted to mention that my top was not sitting on here perfectly flat. It was just kind of rocking. Of course, it's not now. But basically what I did was I took a drop of hot glue and I put it right there in that corner, and I just kind of, and it's pretty hidden, and it keeps it level. So it's flat, pretty flat in this dimension. But if we turn it this way, it has just a little bit, and it's really not that bad. But anyway, I just want to let y'all know, because the other boxes that I made like this, that was not a problem with them. So here's that triple thick glaze stuff I was talking about. It's made by Rust-Oleum. It's like $2 or $3 a can, so it's not super expensive. It's not near as much as this spray polyurethane. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put a coat of this on. Stuff when you put it on, you want to put it on thick enough that you do get the glazed effect, but not just like too thick, or you'll have it dripped, and not too thin, or it'll be kind of like rough and not glazy.